All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. It is Monday, August 8th. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to join me this morning and every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Little black logo, click on that, turn notifications, subscribe to our channel. Make sure to like our videos, really do appreciate it as always. Let's go ahead and get started. Dow futures up 190 points, NASDAQ up about 0.58%. S&P futures did break out of this high that we had last week on futures Thursday morning of around 41.73. We got as high as around 41.77. You can see that right here. Russell 2000 futures 1936 of about 0.75% outperforming. Crude oil, excuse me, the crude oil bubble, commodities bubble that I've been calling it, and I'll just call it that, continues to fall. And as we said, we expect crude oil to continue to fall as gas prices continue to fall. Key level to look for in crude oil here, right here, 84.61. That's your level that we're looking for. Let's see if we can break that. If we do, we're going to take a look at 75 as your next level. Again, just based on the next level over of support, which would be this resistance here. And then you have the 161.8 extension. I think 65 would probably be the lowest that we get. I don't think we'll get to 24, but 65 seems about right. That seems to be the level, in my opinion. That'll get us back down to November 2021 levels. If we can go ahead and just revisit that, that'd be good news for those who are looking to buy back on some energy. I did sell my Chevron shares, understanding that we're going to continue to go lower. We took some profit on it, short-term profit, and then we'll see where our next move is. But really, the target now is really around 75, or excuse me, 84.61, and then we got 75. So again, let's place that alert at 84.61. If that does break, again, I'm keeping an eye on XLE for some puts. I do have a 200-day moving average right around 69.84. Let's see if we do break that. I'll keep an eye on the volume on crude oil as we go on further. Maybe go ahead and take a look at the 65 puts. But again, we'll probably swing that as we move along. Let's go ahead and keep going. TNX, this is the 10-year yield. We'll go ahead and bring this up on the daily. Again, that head and shoulders, it's formed there. We've had that already. Or talked about it already, 2.792% right now on a 10-year. That is down this morning. We'll go to an hourly. You can see that's basically retesting the 100-day. You do have no gaps to fill. We have a gap up to fill at 2.826. So we should get a nice little bounce there and then see where we go from there. Reason stocks are up. Well, the dollar does help. The dollar is down 0.27%. Again, we still have that downward trend where we broke above and came back down, and I expect us to possibly retest right around 106. So far, so good. Let's go to the volatility index. Volatility index continues to go down. And again, this trend line here is holding up around 21.23. If we bring that up on the daily, you could see that we have that nice trend line where it's been holding up. And we broke below it, and now we're right at it. So let's see if we can break that again. I think we go lower because we keep knocking on that door. The question is, how far low can we get? Well, if we expect a bottom or some kind of bull market or a really strong bull market, below 20 would be very strong to see. That coincides with S&P futures right here. If I may borrow the line from Guns N' Roses, a knocking on heaven's door, 4185, 4200. If we can break above that, that is absolutely huge. And we just don't need a tap. We need to close above that. If we can close above that, 4300 and 4332 are the next target. The 200-day. If the 200-day does break on S&P and we close above that, again, 4350 or so, and actually close a candle above that, and maybe sustain a candle a couple of days or so, the bottom is probably in, more than likely. Will we get there? Depends on CPI. CPI is on Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning. We will be here to talk about it in the morning. More than likely, I'll probably start the video a little earlier than usual, maybe around 8:50 or so we can spend 10 minutes on CPI, kind of going over it, and then we'll talk about the rest of the market and the reaction. So put that on your calendar, 8:50 a.m. on Wednesday. We'll go ahead and talk about crude oil. About CPI. Speaking of commodities like crude oil, we're going to talk about gasoline futures. We had a nice tweet from Gas Buddy. This is an app that tracks gasoline futures or gasoline, excuse me. And I did have it here. Average U.S. gas price currently stands at $4.01. We're less than 24 hours away from the national average, falling back in the $3 range for the first time in 155 days. So that's some good news uh, for those who are worried about gas prices, which is completely fine. The problem is that energy prices are going to suffer. So again, you need to ask yourself as an energy investor, do you expect these companies to maintain that same profitability, that same revenue growth from this past summer to next year or even next quarter? It's a tough sledding, and we're below the 200 day. Nothing good happens below the 200 day on the daily, usually when we're the downside. So my target here is around $2.50 a gallon on gasoline futures. Would I trade it? Again, let's see what we get on that on futures. I'm keeping an eye on it. Gold futures 17.98, silver futures $2 up 2.16%, euro dollar 101.95. That's up 14 pips, dollar yen 134.77, down about 26 pips. Bitcoin starting to get close to monthly highs. Let's go ahead and go to the 4-hour chart, and you could see basically since July, we're getting close to monthly highs, which is right around 24,639. We do have a gap to fill on this futures chart, right around 28,762. I expect this to get there. And of course, another gap to fill at 35,068. I expect us to get there. And then there's no more gaps. And then after that, we probably could just kind of hang around 35, 36 for a bit. Or if all is clear, the Fed cuts or something like that in the future, well, we're going to go higher. But again, keep in mind, guys, the Federal Reserve is like the house when it comes to casinos. And if you ever been in a casino, you have chips, right? Just like anything else. Well, the Fed's chips are Federal Reserve currency or dollars, $100 bills, $50 bills, right? Well, if you walk into a casino in Vegas, Bellagio, Cosmo, Wynn, whatever, it doesn't matter, Caesars, and the house, meaning the actual casino says, we're pulling back chips. Less chips will be out there and less chips. You're going to have less and less players. That's kind of the easiest analogy I can give regarding the Fed. If the Fed says, okay, we're going to go ahead and add more chips, meaning cutting rates or being more accommodative, you're going to have more people in the casino, hence the stock market. So always remember that analogy in your head. The Fed has not cut anything. The Fed has not pivoted anything. We're expecting 75 basis points in September. So let's not get too excited as of yet. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we soar. I hope we get to an all-time highs this year. But again, it could be tough sledding. So let's just see what we get when we get there. And every day is a new day. Every day is a new chart. Every day is a new market. And you could see we just rejected about 15 handles. So kind of what I'm looking for here, guys, is possibly looking for some puts ahead of CPI, maybe adding some protection or so. I want to see how the market's moving. I want to see those put positions. We could get a lot of positioning where you get some strangles. Both sides are getting play. Or you could just be simple like we did with earnings and just chill. Just wait and see approach where we had the Fed and earnings. That was 2 weeks ago. And we played very safe, played very carefully, and we got every single trade we sent, which was great. I think the only ones that didn't work were the UOAs of Ford, and that's my bad. Stupid Ford. Doesn't matter. It was puts. That's my fault. But other than that, the other signals did great. So again, patience is key. I only have one traditional trade open, which is really Netflix. And Netflix is up about $2. We did hit 230.34. I expect this to break 231.87 if the high betas run. The only question is Palantir, one of my favorite stocks, did not reported their earnings, and they reported a loss, and they expect to be profitable in 2025. Great. 1 cent EPS versus a 3 cent estimate. So again, they missed 473 million in revenue versus 470 million in revenue. That's a miss. Their guidance was less than expected and across the board. So again, not good. And I just bought shares of Palantir, which really sucks. So the question is, now what? What do we do now if you're a Palantir shareholder? Well, you could always sell here. That's first and foremost. Now you're at 980.81. 937 is your 50-day on the daily. If we go ahead and tap that, I do like Palantir long term. I don't like the fact that they're going to be profitable 3 years from now. It's going to take some time. But either way, if you believe in the company, you believe in management, then you're looking for a level here around 937. Let's see if we get there. I usually like to do the 3-day rule where if I see earnings and they're not great or they're great, I give it 3 days to kind of see where we settle. So again, I'm not going to rush into Palantir today, even though I just bought some last week, and it wasn't tons of shares, technically speaking. It was a good amount of shares, not terrible, like $1,500 worth or something crazy. So, you're down about 12% today. I mean, you could take the haircut and move on, or you could just hold it. I mean, I'm just going to hold Palantir here. So let's just go ahead and answer some questions. Good morning, JJ. Good morning. Can you tell me what's happening with NVIDIA? This is from Dalegen Reviews. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is down pre-market. Wow, let's see what the news are. NVIDIA drops after Q2 preliminary revenue miss. There's your answer. Preliminary Q2. They were reporting early. So here we go. NVIDIA preliminary Q2 revenue, 6.7 billion versus the estimate of 8.1 billion. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt ES. That's going to hurt semiconductors. And primarily driven by weaker gaming revenue. NVIDIA implemented pricing programs with channel partners. NVIDIA plans to continue stock buybacks. NVIDIA slowed operating expense growth. And you could see here, NVIDIA just reported its preliminary Q2 earnings, posting gaming revenue of 2.04 billion, down 33% year over year. So again, we just got some NVIDIA numbers. This is preliminary Q2. So this is out of the blue. NVIDIA was not reporting today. They just went ahead and said it ahead of time. The only time I could kind of give that information, if you remember, Walmart did preliminary and they bounced. Target preliminary, they bounced. And I believe Google did the hiring freeze, Apple hiring freeze, and all that jazz. So again, NVIDIA just looks like they're getting in front of this. If you guys remember Walmart, this is all that this chart here, that big red drop was that drop from the inventory build and all that. So again, it bounced back, got back to the ties, and then it came back down. So again, I think NVIDIA here is a good trading opportunity. I wouldn't want to touch it in terms of investing as of right now. I mean, I would, again, it's kind of the 3 day rule. Perfect timing with Palantir. And I love NVIDIA. I would love to add more, but let's go ahead and give it a couple of days to invest. But to trade, now we're getting interesting because now we could start seeing, hey, is this a put? Is this a call? Now, again, there's not a lot of edge on the first hour, on the 1 hour chart, excuse me. If we bring up a 4 hour chart, you're back to 175.25 or 175.40. You have the 100-day moving average there. That looks like key support 172.16. If that does break, I'd probably pull the trigger on some 165 puts. If that's the case, if we hold above there, then I want to probably buy some calls, maybe to the 180s. Kind of tough, kind of a toss up, but again, we're just going to wait and see. Thoughts on Palantir after the earnings report? Again, they did miss on earnings. They did miss on guidance. I do like what they're doing long term. It's going to be just one of those pills to swallow if you like the stock for now. And I can't really convince anyone to keep it. I know that I like it. But again, I just bought some last week. Now it's down 13%. So shoot me in the head. I'm down on the stock like 55% since I bought it. And I haven't done a ton of dollar cost averaging lately on the stock. I really do dollar cost averaging really on the, that is bad grip. Just trying to turn on the fan in my room, in my office, excuse me. There you go. So in regards to Palantir, I would just wait and see approach. Again, if the high beta stocks start running again, like we've been seeing lately, Upstart, Shopify, those names, Palantir is going to be running with it. But right now, it's pretty ugly. Give it 3 days, see where we are. We saw the same thing with Walmart when they gave preliminary guidance regarding their inventories and all that. And you could see that big drop happened and it just bounced. And it's kind of the same old thing over and over. Target gave me the nice opportunity on that bounce where I bought it in around 141 and now it's bouncing. So again, these are opportunities if you find it. That's basically it. Thoughts on SPY? Well, now we have the NVIDIA news. That's where you're getting the fall. And you can see we just got that news right as we broke above. So again, looking at SPY, really what's your edge? 410.54 is your support currently. If you're looking for shorter term support, right around 413.90, that's the 50 and the 20-day cross. You need to go above 416.67. And if you're looking for the longer term resistance, it's right, or well, kind of the next resistance, right around 417.38 or 4,200 S&P futures. We'll put that alert there for us. Also on the calls currently open with the team. Yeah, talked about Netflix, same thing. Again, I have Netflix open with you guys for premium signals. Again, 232.07 is the level we're looking for. The reason that we just came down, it's still up $2 pre-market. So again, we're heading in the right direction. Let's see what we get when we open. And then, do you think the most recent coin pump has to do more with BlackRock deal? Yeah, it's more about the BlackRock deal than anything else. You could see we got that news, I believe, last Friday. Got that pop to 116, came back down a little bit. Now we're at 98. I do own shares of Coinbase at a horrible price, right around 350. Shoot me in the head. I do use Coinbase. Do I like Coinbase? I think that if you like crypto, just own the crypto. If you like Coinbase and use it like I do, you could own some too. I wouldn't make that the center point of your portfolio, but have a couple of, the speculative bucket. Sure, that's what I have. And again, I like investing in companies that I use, again, because they make revenue off me. So why not own it? Starbucks, Nike, those are the names I like. If the melon hats were probably a stock, I'd probably own some, if anything. I don't think they are. But again, you shouldn't do that for everything. Some people are just like, I'm not going to own stock because I have some of their products. That was kind of what I did with Apple, and it's been my heaviest position for years. And I love Apple, and it's worked. And again, that's one kind of instance. But again, I'm such an Apple geek that it kind of keeps me invested in the company by buying some of their stuff, and I do like their technology. So I think owning Bitcoin would be better off than Coinbase. Personally, I'd rather just own the crypto or own the commodity. But again, if you want to own, like Coinbase being the broker or refiner, you could call that. You could own crude oil itself, or you can own XOM or Chevron. It really just depends. The meme stocks went crazy because of Coinbase, not the other way around. Again, Coinbase is a high beta name, so high betas run together. And that's why I have here my options watch. I always see all the high betas running together, or they're all down together. It's just kind of sectors. We work in sectors. So we just got Nvidia's numbers, right? Let's take a look at that. We got Nvidia's numbers, or the preliminary, and you can see now we're 177. Go that to AMD, it's down. MU, that's down. Qualcomm, that's down. But Carlos, they didn't report earnings. They didn't have any bad news. Doesn't matter. They're part of the same sector. They all work together. Now, again, it won't be as much down as Nvidia, but again, you will see it go down in sympathy. So again, it's all about the sectors. When you look for maybe more themes, a thematic approach in terms of investing, let's just say you think inflation is going to go down. So now you have an investment theme. So what companies or what sectors will benefit from lower inflation? Consumer discretionary. So we go to the S&P, consumer discretionary, S&P. You can go to consumer discretionary or consumer cyclicals, and then you just zoom in on what you want to do. So we can move this here. You have Amazon, Tesla, Booking.com, TJX, Marriott, Home Depot, McDonald's, Chipotle, Starbucks, Nike, name it. If you say, well, Carlos, I think that oil is going to bounce and I think inflation is going to go wild. Well, if you think inflation is going to go wild, utilities and energy, and then you just zoom in into these names. Okay, what in utilities as well? NextEra Energy. You also have Duke Energy. Oh, we also have ConocoPhillips. We also have Valero, Chevron, so on and so forth. So again, when you're looking at a thematic, or you're more of a thematic investor or a trader, you're looking for themes based on macroeconomic headlines. For example, how about this? We know that Nvidia reported numbers that were lower than expected ahead of time. Look at semiconductors this morning. Nvidia's down 6%, AMD down 1.97. So now that's trading opportunities for you. Either you could buy the dip or you could short it here. And again, same thing with financials when they report. PNC is down 3%. I don't know if they reported earnings or something came out, but again, the rest of the financials are doing fine. We did get the report that in the Senate did pass the climate change tax bill. You're going to get more EV credits. That helps Tesla. That helps GM. GM up 1%, Tesla up 2%. So again, keep an eye on Tesla too. I mean, let's say if it continues to run higher. Tesla here, you have a gap to fill around 862.18. So maybe not the best entry. Maybe just wait for that to fill first. Okay, so that's all the questions, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I will catch you guys later today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the aftermarket recap. We'll go over the day's action. We'll answer some of your questions, and let's make it a great trading day. Happy Monday, and we'll see you later on today. Cheers, guys.